because socially it can destroy our relationships. That's why you find in some countries, on the one hand they try and prohibit alcohol socially, on the other hand they open pubs which are allowed to open 24 hours. You see, in the United Kingdom a few months ago, they came forward and said that alcohol is a big problem in the United Kingdom, and that there are many binge drinkers. A binge drinker is someone who drinks and drinks and drinks like we drink water, they drink alcohol. Then on the other hand, the government allows 24-hour pubs. Do you think 24-hour pubs are going to stop alcohol? 24-hour pubs. And if someone's allowed to stay in a pub for more than those hours, God knows socially what it will do. That's why socially there is no peer pressure like alcohol. If you want to know peer pressure, how it can affect you, sit in a group who drink and see your result at the end. Because many people drink alcohol because of peer pressure, that they feel left out when they go out and enjoy themselves, that the rest of their group is drinking while they are not. That's why when the jurisprudence says do not drink alcohol or do not put alcohol on your table, why do people ask? Islam doesn't allow for alcohol to be on my table. I'm not going to drink. I'm just going to sign a multi-million-pound contract. Well, that's my only concern. I don't care. I'll get myself an orange juice. He can have himself a drink. You see, it begins like that at the beginning. At the beginning, it's only an orange juice. Then one day he says to you, your Quran, it says only a little amount of alcohol. So then after some water and lemon, then lemon and a bit of Red Bull, and then Red Bull and a bit of vodka. And then before you know it, the person comes back in a state at the end of that night. Socially, alcohol has a peer pressure. It can make you come towards drinking it because of you seeing others around you drinking it. That's why, what do we find? We find when Rasulullah came to Arabia, he found that the biggest problem with alcohol was the peer pressure. That Rasulullah did not prohibit alcohol straight away. Rasulullah did not straight away say you cannot drink. Rasulullah saw that many of these Arabs, drinking was a culture for them. That without the drink he could not rest. I remember Tarafa was one of the men who had 7 poems on the Kaaba. 7 poems. You know the famous 7 poems, Al-Mu'allaqat, they were hung on the Kaaba. Tarafa used to have a poem on the Kaaba which will tell you how the Arabs love their alcohol. What did he say? He said, were it not for 3, I would see no point to living this life. Number 1, that I am able to go towards a drink and drink as I like. Number 2, that on a gloomy day I can wake up and take a woman and bring her back to my house. And number 3, when anyone offends me, I can take the law into my own hand and be happy. What did he mean? He meant that in Arabian society, it was normal, number 1, for alcohol to come to you when you are unhappy. Number 2, in a gloomy day, any woman walking in the street, pick her up and take her. Number 3, the law. There was no such thing as law. Anybody takes the law into their own hands and is happy. That's why when our holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when it came towards the verses of alcohol, Islam gradually reformed the area of alcohol. Not straight away. Islam done it in 3 stages. The prohibition of alcohol was in 3 stages. Why? Because many of his companions were major drunkards. As in many of them, before they became a Muslim, many of them had drunken many times. Could Rasulullah straight away say no more alcohol? No, he couldn't, because some of them, their culture was alcohol. So what did Rasulullah do? The first verse to be revealed about alcohol in the Quran was Surah 4, verse 43. The verse I quoted at the beginning of the lecture. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, la taqrabu as-salata wa antum sukara. O you who believe, do not approach salah when you are in a state of intoxication. You see, Dr. Israar Ahmed, what did he say? He said this verse was revealed when the companions were in the house of Abdul Rahman ibn Auf. When they were in his house, they said, who will lead us in salah? The reply was, let Ali ibn Abi Talib lead us. He says Ali ibn Abi Talib was intoxicated with the drink. And so when he came, he began reciting. He got to Surah Al-Kafirun and committed shirk in reciting Surah Al-Kafirun. You see, this needs to be replied very academically, and I'll finish it off right now. How? You see, there's two ways to finish off any hadith argument. Number one is to look at the chain of the hadith. Who is it that narrates it? It's like me today, someone coming up to me and saying to me, Sayyid Ammar, did you hear outside there was an argument? I say, who told you? He'll say, Ali. I said, who told Ali? He'll say, Muhammad. I'll say, who told Muhammad? He'll say, Uthman. I said, I don't trust Uthman necessarily that much. Why? What is there? There is a chain in the narrators. Meaning what? Meaning I look at the isnad and I see who it is, who has narrated it. In the chain of this hadith, that Amir al-Mu'mineen led Salah drunk, the main person in the chain is Ata ibn Sa'ib. Ata ibn Sa'ib, according to the scholars of hadith, because there are scholars who study the biography of every narrator who ever narrated a hadith in history. According to the scholars of hadith, what do they say? They say, for example, Yahya ibn Mu'in says, Ata ibn Sa'ib, his hadiths cannot be relied upon. Whenever he narrates a hadith, you cannot rely on them. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the master of the Hanbali school of fiqh, says that Ata ibn Sa'ib do not take hadiths from him. Who narrates this hadith? Ata ibn Sa'ib, number one. Number two, in which book is it narrated? You see, the two main books, the hadith which says Ali ibn Abi Talib was drunk, are narrated. The two main ones are the book which is the Sahih of Abu Dawood and the Sahih of Imam al-Tirmidhi. Because you know our brothers have 6 Sahih books. Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Abu Dawood and Ibn Majah. There are 6 of them. They say are the most authentic books of hadith. The two which narrate this hadith are the Sunan of Abu Dawood and the Sunan of Imam al-Tirmidhi. Now understand, if it was only these two which narrated and no other book, I would say okay, there's no contradiction. It's only these two which narrate the hadith. However, then you find Imam al-Nasa'i and Imam Fakhr al-Razi saying it wasn't Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now there's a contradiction. Abu Dawood and al-Tirmidhi say it's Ali ibn Abi Talib. Imam al-Nasa'i and al-Fakhr al-Razi say it was Abdul Rahman ibn Auf who led the Salah. Ali ibn Abi Talib did not lead anything, nor was he involved. Then you find one of the great scholars, Abu Bakr al-Barraz, what does he say? He says no name has ever been given for who led the Salah. They said to him, why? He said because the hadith is narrated by the Khawarij. And do you think a hadith narrated by the Khawarij is going to praise Ali ibn Abi Talib? Considering Ibn Muljam, Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam was from the Khawarij, they are not going to praise Ali ibn Abi Talib. The most important point about this hadith is what? Is that Imam al-Bukhari and Imam Muslim do not narrate it at all. And the fact that they do not narrate it, and the fact that Al-Mustadrak al-Sahihain does not narrate it, means that it comes under the classification of being a hadith which is extremely weak. On the first level, Rasulullah, what did he do? The first thing Rasulullah said is do not approach Salah while you are intoxicated. Because some of the companions used to approach Salah while they were intoxicated, number one. The second verse to be revealed about alcohol was which one? Surah 2, verse 219. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسَرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ وَإِثْمُهُمَا أَكْبَرٌ مِنْ نَفْعِهِمَا. Listen to the verse. They ask you about khamr. I want you to hear this very carefully. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ. Khamr does not mean alcohol.